and I need to tell you about it.
Do you think that solely?
Now, keeping in mind, the woman who said that to me was as big as these two chairs put together. Okay, her hair wasn't done. She ain't had no makeup on. Okay, she's sliding. But you gonna tell me?
That's right.
What I look like.
But do you think they do that primarily to black women or just women in general in your?
I don't know about the white women, because I don't know what they do.
Welcome to Coinology, the podcast. Hey, and welcome to another episode of Coinology. We're in season 5, and I am so excited about our next guest. This is someone that is considered a legend, someone that I've been wanting to talk to for a very long time, someone that I've studied. And when I look at journalism and the art of journalism, her picture pops up in my brain. I have none other than Miss Jaquitta Williams in the studio. Thank you.
I don't feel like I deserve that, but I will take it, so thank you.
Oh, you deserve it. I mean, Jaquitta, when I talk about you, I think about those that I hold in very high regard in the space of journalism.
Oh, thank you.
You women have created a space for African American women to be able to be vocal and to put ourselves out there. And I want to thank you for that. I definitely want to thank you for that. Mm-hmm. One of the things about you, Jaquitta, that stood out so much for me is your transparency. Mm. You share your life before the world. But before we get into that, for those who may not be from Atlanta, those who may be under a rock and may not have seen her on BET, TV One, Lifetime, ID Channel, CNN, and everything else, Jaquitta, tell me, who are you? Where are you from?
Well, I'm from Augusta, Georgia, and I hopscotched across the globe from the Southeast to the Midwest and back to the Southeast, landing here in Atlanta. And I'm a journalist at the beginning and the end, and I always wanted to work at WSB in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. My coup de grace on my list of things was I wanted to be in a double box.
Okay.
I wanted Monica Pearson to say my name.
Really?
And when that finally happened, I remember kind of like pausing and in my head going like, because I've checked off something that I really wanted. While at WSB, a lot of people may know, some people may have forgotten, and some people may be learning this for the first time. At 35 years old, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Mm-hmm. Didn't have it in my family history. Did all the things right and still got it. Told that story very publicly at WSB. Hopscotched to the CBS affiliate and then decided I no longer wanted to do local television news anymore. Did some crime dramas and some other things in regards to women, black women, young women, health, cancer. And now I'm in a whole different stratosphere, but still using the skill set that I had in television news.
When I think about it too, Jaquitta, both you, well, not both, but all you, Jaquitta, Jaquitta, and Monica had to share your life before the world, specifically your health challenges before the world.
Right.
Did you find that being an African-American woman in that space was handled differently by the press or by fans and so forth? Did you see the outcry of support, or what did you see?
No, it was definitely supportive. My community, our community held me down. I appreciated the prayers. We had a Jaquitta's Journey where I, blogged and people wrote in their emails and I read every single one of them to the point where I still have a binder with all of them in there. And it helped to have a community kind of undergirding, pushing, knowing that they supported you and wanted you to, come out on the other side of it. The interesting thing about, you mentioned Monica, Jovita, me, but it's not just us, particularly in the WSB newsroom. It was so many of us, I think a record number of us who had some form of cancer, from men and women, some who have passed away, like Jovita, like another television producer who had cancer when I had it. She had the same brain tumor that Jovita had. She passed away within a 7-month period, as did Jovita. Mm-hmm. So it was just, it was difficult. It was difficult dealing with cancer, knowing that I survived on the other end of it and she didn't. particularly since I had already decided that at 35, 36, that I had done everything that I wanted to do. Everything on my checklist I'd done. I didn't have any children, didn't want any, wasn't married, had traveled. I had reached the pinnacle of my career, which was coming here to Atlanta. And I decided, well, you know what? If this was the thing that would take me out, because the kind of tumor I had was the same kind of tumor that Robin Roberts had the first go around. It's called triple negative. And it is very aggressive. It hits most young women. And it usually kills us. So I thought, you know what? I'm good. I can check out. And to know that I am still here, whereas somebody like Jovita, who had 2 children, who loved her career, who was in the prime of her career, and to know that God was like, now I'm going to take you, that was, it still remains hard for me because I was ready to lay it down and they weren't. Same thing for Tracy Braxton. Same thing for Simon. It was so many people, and it just, it makes me know that I have more to do, but it's still, there's a sadness that I feel and that I am constantly working against to fight because it's, it means that there's more work for me to do.
Did you choose chemotherapy?
I did.
You did?
Well, it wasn't a choice. It was it was either get chemotherapy or die, because literally the tumor that I have, tumors come between 1 and 4, 4 being the highest and 4 being the hardest to treat. Mine was between a 3 and a 4. So it was an aggressive cancer, and the only options that I would have would be surgery, chemo, radiation. And then after that, most women take tamoxifen for a 5-year period in the hopes that the tumor will not return. My kind of tumor, it is kind of like, once we've treated you with chemo and radiation, good luck. Because the likelihood of it returning is higher, and the likelihood of when it returns, it kills, is higher. So there were so many women who I met, particularly because it happens to white women too, but there were 3 white women I remember specifically who had it, whose theirs returned, and they died. So it's a sobering thought. That's why it's interesting for women of color, Black women, to be really meticulous in their health, knowing what the changes that are happening in their body, because it can literally mean the difference between you finding it, you treating it, you living, you finding it, you trying to treat it, you die.
I've noticed over the last couple of years, I've come in contact with several women who've made the choice to go with Eastern Health. They did not want to do the chemotherapy.
Okay. Yeah.
Unfortunately,
like Ananda Lewis.
Yes, her and several others, and I'm actually dealing with a particular person right now, and I'm watching her deteriorate. She moved to Bali in hopes of natural healing. Unfortunately, the other women that I've seen take that route, it did not end well for them. Have you ever met someone that went the route of Eastern
No,
medicine?
I've never known anybody personally. I have watched women who I know via association based on the kind of work that they do, which is why I mentioned Ananda Lewis. She, beautiful woman, used to be a VJ on MTV and the like, and she too has breast cancer and decided to do the same thing. And now, for a time, she thought she was improving. But of course, the cancer was continuing to grow, and she's at a point now where there is, even if she wanted to kind of circle back around and do chemo and the other, it would not work. So
too late.
I think that most women, when they do that, they clearly have made a decision that if for whatever reason this does not work, they are comfortable with the outcome. And, I always think it's interesting when women say, my body, my choice. But when it comes to things like that, we have people who are like, but don't you want to? But this is going to happen. But it's still my body, my choice. So when I hear that, I realize they know what the outcome could be, and they are okay with knowing that if I die, I'm going to die. Same thing with Steve Jobs. He did the same thing. And by the time he wanted to change his mind, it was far too late. And it did not matter the fact that that man was a millionaire over and over, his brilliant mind. His health was going to give out on him because of the decisions that he made.
What do you think are the key components to this spike in cancer? Do you think it's that our environment? Do you think it's what we eat? What do you think is happening, Jaquitta?
I think it's all of the above. I really do. I think it's our environment. I believe it is the additives in our food that we don't know about that we're ingesting. I believe it's birth control too. For me, here's the thing. I have to have cause and effect for certain things, and I know sometimes you don't have it, but I'm the kind of person I need something to point to. The only thing that I can remember is that I did at some point let me back up. When I was in my early 20s, I had a lump in the same breast. It was a cyst. At that time, I opted to remove it. It was not cancerous. I removed it. I moved on with my life. The only difference is I ultimately started taking birth control pills, and I never got off of them. I would maybe switch brands, but I continued to take them. And by the time I was diagnosed, and my doctor made it very clear that I could not be on them again, and I do believe that probably graduated something up. And I've met other women, specifically Black women, who have the same story, and they feel that it was that too. So I don't know if it was hormonal. I didn't do any deep dives or study to find out if it was true or not, but in my mind, I believe that's what it is.
And I'm sure you're seeing now that it's being reported that braiding hair even causes
that too. Relaxers. I've heard that. I mean, baby powder, talcum. I've heard all kinds of things that could attribute to it, and I can't disprove it and I can't prove it, but I believe there must be some merit to it.
Do you think it's purposeful? Do you think that they are doing this on purpose?
I don't know if they're doing it on purpose. I know that it may be financial gain. They're not going to stop doing it. And I believe maybe if they do find out that this may cause it, if it's going to affect their bottom line, I don't believe they'll change it. So I guess my answer is yes and no. Yeah. And maybe so.
Right? Because I know you've seen a lot as a journalist.
I have.
And I know there's quite a few things you probably have opted not to report on.
I have.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about the desensitization that you may have being a journalist. I know you and I spoke a little bit a few minutes ago, and you mentioned that you don't watch the news anymore.
No.
I don't watch the news anymore, but I've stopped really watching the news probably around right before Trump's first inauguration. I do still get news bits though through the Instagram and social media and things of that nature,
and the push alerts.
But I stopped actually sitting there and watching the news. Actually, I think it goes back before that. I think I stopped around George W. Bush, maybe 20 years ago, because I was so distraught. What are your thoughts about the information that's being put out? I know for many years it's been said that the news lives and thrives off of negative news, drama, salacious information. Is that true? And do you believe that African American people are unfairly targeted in that?
Okay, so that's a very broad question. So let me start bite-size it. I stopped watching the news with Ferguson when there was, a bunch of people who were protesting. I specifically remember seeing Don Lemon, Chris Cuomo being out on the ground, and they had these gas masks on because, of course, the National Guard or whomever had come in and they were tear gassing people. And I really looked at it and I realized there is nothing that's going to happen that's going to change this. It is literally, as a journalist, your job is to be there and to report the news. So they were doing what they were supposed to do. But I knew by the next day, and as the months and the years increased, nothing that circumstance brought about would do any changing in the future. And I'm like, why? It felt performative. It felt like optics. It felt like a show almost, even though this is new. So that's when I start. That's one. Two, when it comes to desensitizing, as a journalist, I believe if you are worth your salt, when you go into a newsroom, the majority of what you do is going to be bad news. When you turn on the television, it's not rainbows and kittens, and people don't want that. People are always like, give us other news. There have been other news stations, other talent that have done that, and it does not work. Their numbers fail. they have to go back to if it bleeds, it leads. Because unfortunately, as the masses, that's what people want. Secondly, there was no way that I thought that I could do my job effectively and be affected by everything that I encountered, because I encountered so much. I encountered people who were dead moments after I got to a live location. I have been in spaces where because I had a really good relationship with a police officer, I am standing right there next to the person who just died. Their families arrived on the scene. The smell of death. I know whether to, if somebody died in water, whether to stand upwind, downwind, based on how much of the decomposition that you are going to waffle in your nose. I can, in my mind, as I'm talking to you right now, recall mentally all of the people I have seen, decapitations and shootings while we were there, and you name it, I've seen it. I have experienced it. I remember a woman I interviewed whose husband, partner, cut her throat. She had so many lacerations deep within her neck portion here, and he killed himself. He thought he killed her. He did not. And I'll never forget this as long as I live. My day started off, my hair wasn't right. I didn't like what I had on, and I was just... And by the time I got to that woman, hearing her story and her gratefulness to just be alive, and saying that the gash, particularly the one that went from here to here, she called it her survival necklace. And here I am complaining about my hair ain't right. And so it made me rethink what I'm doing, the stories I'm telling, and how I feel about life, based on this woman who should be dead, who the man who tried to kill her felt good about what he'd done because he thought both of them would die. He died, she did not, and she realized there's life in me. I've got things to do and I want to do it. So for me, as I continued on in my career, I was very good. I was very good at getting people to talk to me. I was always surprised by how we would come on a scene where mass murder had happened or what have you, and people would be flailing and crying and overwhelmed, and I would arrive and they would just, it almost felt like an anointing for me, because people would just gravitate, Jaquitta, and they would just start talking. I was grateful that I was the vessel in order to, safeguard the interview. Some people, Black people, I remember this one guy who had his shirt off, and I wanted to interview him, and I was like, look, go back, get a shirt real quick and come on back. I want to talk to you. I didn't have to say, hey, you don't need to be on. I just said, baby, go get a shirt. Came back. So that was my way of respecting and protecting a Black man and the interview that I still was going to get exclusively. And because I was so good at it, I had to take myself out of it, because you take that home. People think like, oh, there is no way that you can do stories. You interview people all the time, I'm sure. You feel their energy, good, bad, ugly, whatever. You have to get that off of you, or if it's good, you keep it on you. So imagine me doing that from the time I graduated from college all the way, we're talking about 20, 25 years, 30 years of me seeing things. And I believe that, and I'm not downing the craft of the career, we need that. We need journalists. However, I just realized after you fought for your life with something, the last thing I want to do is be in the belly of the demon.
And that's what I was about to ask you. What made you finally, because it sounds as if journalism is a fiber in you.
It's a part of me. I realize it's a gifting, but I also realize I can decide how I want to utilize my gifting now.
But what made you say, this is it?
I just, when I came back from my cancer journey, I realized I was different. Like I walked into the news, as a matter of fact, when I was still going through my cancer and still going through radiation every day, I still went to work at WSB. When I was doing my cancer journey, there was one last newscast when I was still doing chemo, and I realized I had to get some medication, and I was still anchoring the news, and I was like, well, I knew in my head, this is the last time I'm going to do this. I can't. The medication had me loopy. I'm trying to give the news, but at the same time, you would have never known it. Because journalists, true journalists, know how to, I don't care if your arm is broke, you sick, you are supposed to be in front of that camera, I'm going to do it.
Was it hard for you to walk away? Because I know it's very competitive. It's a,
it is
dog eat dog world.
But no. I mean, here's the thing. It could be a dog eat dog world if that is your comfort. Like if that is what you want to do. If that is the most important thing to you, yes, it'll be hard to let go.
The seat that you sat in, though, Jaquitta, was the most coveted seat.
And they can have it.
And so you walked away and never looked back.
Well, of course, I left WSB because I realized that was different. I didn't want to do that anymore. I left. For a year, I did whatever I wanted to do. I did some Tyler Perry. I did some singing. I did musical theater with Kenny Leon. I did some commercials. I did TV. I did radio. It was great. And then the only way, somebody else said, well, would you come back? The only way I would come back, I had 3 things that I specifically wanted. If I had those things, I would come back. I had a news director reach out to me. All 3 things he said, you can do. Great. Did it. Same thing, different space with an inch higher of what I wanted to do, but I'm still in this newsroom. And so, no, for my mental health, for my physical being, because I also think people hold stress in the body, okay? And the more you hold, it manifests itself into things. I had gone through cancer. I wasn't doing it again. And I just knew it was time. God always has a way of taking me in something and plunking me out of something when he knows that something is going to be detrimental to me. So television news no longer, I just didn't have the thing you need. Like sometimes when I talk to you and you're like, oh, breaking news is happening, or look, I used to be you constantly, just watching news all the time, always alert, always aware. But that's also something that I was taking on in my body. It is a stress that I no longer want to carry. So I said goodbye. I think of news and everything else like an auto plant. I leave. Another person will come in and do that very job. That person leave. Another person will come in and do that. There is did I add something to it? I'd like to believe that I did. I say that I did. But now I'm on a different journey. I need to let somebody else do it.
I don't know that today, and maybe just because I don't watch the news like I used to, I don't know that today we have a Jaquitta Williams, a Javitta Moore.
It's different.
A Monica
It's
Pearson.
Different. It is like I just did an interview on my own show. Traditional news. Traditional news. The way you knew it, the way I knew it, gone. Dead. The relationship between audience, journalist, gone. Like if I went outside and people like, I don't know who is on air
I don't either.
I don't know who they are.
I don't know.
I could walk past them and I wouldn't know who they are unless they are the mainstays. Tom Jones, okay. I can't think of anybody on Channel 5 that I know. Like I don't know.
I don't know. I remember seeing you one time. I think we were going to a concert or somewhere. I can't remember, but I had my mother with me. And we were walking past, and she saw it. She just flipped out, and I said, "Jaquitta, will you mind taking a picture of my mom?" She was such a, but that is, I don't know that that is out there. I just don't know, and I think that also the transparency that you, Javitta, and Monica had and gave to the people. But one of the things that Monica used to talk about a lot too was the unfairness that the fans had on women as far as your appearance, your look, what you wear,
what kind of makeup, why your hair like that, you look like you've gained weight, you look like you've lost too much weight. I countless times when women, I'll never forget, I was in a store just trying to get my little something to come up on out of there, and a woman came up to me and said, I don't like you in dark colors, blue, navy blue, like you look better, just like don't like basically don't wear that.
How do you respond to that?
The new me would be very different. That me was like, thank you, move on about my business. Like what? But I also realized she felt comfortable enough to talk to me because she felt like she knew me. Like I think that we did news, but I also think people felt like we are friends.
Right.
You come in my house every day. You told me your personal story about what you were going through. I saw it. I know you. We're friends. Although I don't know you. You see me. So I gave grace to that back then. And then at some point, I remember even members of my family were like, are you going to relax your hair again? Are you going to? And I'm like, The only thing you can think about is what my hair looks like, and I just fought for my life. What's important to you is my aesthetic. What's important to you is how what I look like makes you feel comfortable, or what Black women should look like. And if you do something that is counter to what I believe we should look like, then I need to tell you about it.
Do you think that solely?
Now, keeping in mind, the woman who said that to me was as big as these two chairs put together. Okay, her hair wasn't done. She ain't had no makeup on. Okay, she's sliding, but you gonna tell me?
That's right.
What I look like.
But do you think they do that primarily to Black women, or just women in general in your?
I don't know about the white women, because I don't know what they do. I know for me, my folk, they did that. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, I remember even when I first came to Atlanta, more so than what I had to say, what I was doing, it was the way that I looked. We love her hair. Oh, she had chocolates. Like, all of those things were the most important, more so than what I brought. Now, of course, people, I believe, as with Jovita, as with Monica, as with me, I do believe that they knew and could respect what we were telling them based on the credibility and the work that we'd done. But more so than that, it was what we looked like first, and then it was the job we did. Because if you look at men, Black or white, they can look any kind of way: disheveled, unkempt, bald, everything, fat, sloppy, slovenly, whatever, good looking. They get the pass. We do not.
So as Black women in entertainment, the mental health has to be an issue.
It can be.
It can be, right?
It can be.
So how do you maintain that, Jaquitta, for
my mental health?
Your mental health in this industry, because you're living in a glass bowl. I'm sure everywhere you go, you're being sized up.
All of us are in some capacity in this new generation, because I will say social media has really changed the game. And I think that's also why there was no real connection as far as television, because television, I believe in that regard, is a dying art. I don't know how television stations are going to, if this is the trajectory that we're on, I don't know how they're going to be able to sustain, because people aren't checking in at 6 o'clock, at 5 o'clock, at 5. They're not doing that. I can pick up my phone and find out anything that I need to do in a minute, and then I can put it back down and go on about my business. So by 5 o'clock, when you want to come on, that's old. That's old to me. So I don't think that the landscape is different. I think it's enough for everybody to go around as far as the scrutiny. I'm sure with you doing this, that the way you're doing it, you've had people who've had to say something about the way you look, the way you dress, the way you whatever. I don't think that'll ever change for women, period. And for Black women, it is even a higher standard that we as other Black women and people impart on us, which I don't know why. I don't know why we are held to a higher standard, but we are. But I just, I don't subscribe to it. You've got to buy in and invest in order for it to work. And because I don't buy in, I don't invest. I don't care what people.
You don't really care.
If you don't like the way I wear my hair, then don't wear your hair like this. If you don't like the way I look, then go somewhere to where you can find the person who's aesthetic, who's whatever, pleases you, and then move on.
As we talk about journalism, today in the White House, in this new administration, many people are being silenced. Many journalists are being silenced, and they are having to report certain stories. What are your thoughts on that, as far as only certain stories being reported, certain questions are being administered and allowed? What are your thoughts in that space?
It saddens me, because the true manifestation to me of journalism is asking the hard questions, fact-finding, being able to hold truth against power and have power to address it. Now we are definitely in a dictatorial type of situation where I get to pluck. So basically, journalism is no longer what that is anymore. It's not journalism. I don't know what it is, but it is not journalism. And the unfortunate part too is, I believe social media has a blessing to it, But I also realize now, as a podcaster, as a conspiracy theorist, whomever you want to be, there are people who call themselves journalists who have not gone to school for it, but they can say it on this space, and it will be a large amount of people who will agree to it, who will listen to it, who will invest in it. And you, the journalist, you're the liar. You're the fake news. We don't want to hear what you're talking about. So it's unfortunately, I think it is important that people like Don Lemon, people like Joy Reid, who were fact finders and great at what they did, have now found a new space. And they can be the fullness of who they are. Like this me right here has always been who I was, but I could never really show you all of this on television because you weren't supposed to. You're not the story. And now you are the story. Journalists are the story in some capacity. So I don't. In this White House administration, it is too much to even. I think we all know what this is.
And you mentioned Oprah. I mean, you mentioned Don. You mentioned Joy. I think this generation, this will be it. I don't know that we'll have another Don or Joy.
Oh gosh, no. What you're not? No, you're not going to have it.
Right.
Not on traditional news formats.
Right now, the news is the shade room, the neighborhood talk.
It is. That is who people go to get their news and their information. And there are no real checks and balances. There's nobody who I can say, oh, I believe. Somebody can just say something.
Anything.
And unless you are intuitive enough, which most people aren't. Most people won't even read a post. When you put a picture up and you write a little something, they'll just look at the thing. They won't even read what you're saying. And then I've come to realize, even if they read what you're saying, it doesn't necessarily mean they've comprehended what you said. I can say, this dress is yellow. And somebody can say, no, your dress is orange, or your dress in my mind comes to me as green. And there will be a fight about what the truth is. The truth is this dress is yellow. But because I've decided, it's green or it's orange, then we got to debate that. Or I just don't believe what you're talking about. You're lying. Your dress is not yellow.
Have you thought about The View?
What about it?
As far as being a guest,
No,
guest host.
Here's the thing. I don't want anything to where I've got to be combative. I've got to champion or try to make you see my point of view, or to just agree to disagree. I've done that my whole life, Ebony. I did that more than 20 some odd years. And you know what I've come to realize? You have made up your mind. People in here that are in this studio, we've made our minds up about whatever it is we feel. Can somebody just come in and change your mind about something? No. The only person who can change their mind is you, if you've decided to change your mind. If I've decided to change my mind. I just, however long I have to live on this earth, and let me be very clear, I've had a lot of death around me. More than I believe is functionally possible. So at this stage in my life, and as I continue to move forward, however long that is, I want to be the fullness of whatever it is that is good on this earth. I want to see beautiful things. I want to have amazing conversation. I want to elevate my mindset. But to me, that's not going to happen being on a show called The View, arguing with women who've already made up their mind. And the main reason why we're arguing, it might not even be a real fight, but we're pretending it's a fight because we have to entertain the masses. I don't care about the masses anymore. I don't care about what your opinion is. I don't care about trying to change your mind about whatever it is you feel. You do you over there. I want to be over here. And I don't want your world and your chaos, your negativity, to have anything to do with me if I can help it. I do know there's going to be stress and strain in life. I get that. And I'm going to address it. But I am not willingly walking into chaos, knowing that it's chaos, to try to clean up chaos.
That's right. That's right.
I can't do that.
This has definitely been a jewel of an interview, because
thank you.
One of the things I've noticed too as I continue to, get older and grow, it's just certain things I'm just not tolerating anymore. certain things I choose not to walk in anymore. And then I have embraced the word no. And I'm okay with it. And you, just so you know, standing back and just watching you, you and I have been in some interactions together and things, and I love the way you make a decision. You stand by that decision, and you're firm in it, no matter what. You don't go out of your way to be rude, but it's just no. And I think as women, Black women in particular, we have to be stronger in that and be okay with that and not have to carry the burdens of what everyone else thinks, because we tend to do that our entire life.
Yeah. But what everybody thinks ain't my business.
That's right.
Ain't my business. And here's the other thing, too. This is what always is my defining factor, which is why I'm really grateful for cancer. I really am. I don't want to do it again, but I'm grateful for it in that it taught me how limited and fleeting life is. So right now for you, if you knew within a 6-month period, that's your window of time that you have left. The things that people are talking about, the things that people want from you, you would be very decisive about what you want to do, because you've got a 6-month window. A lot of stuff will get tossed away. I've just tossed a lot of things that do not matter. A lot of people who, for me, do not matter in the space that I'm in. They may matter to other people. I can't entertain it. I'm so sorry. And the older I get and the more I see, the more I can't unsee. And the clearer it is for me to just, no, I'm good. Like the more healing I do, the more revelations I have, the more I realize I don't need a lot anymore. I don't need it.
The simplicity of life.
I want it as basic as I can get it, because that is what makes my nervous system calm. That is what makes me happy and joyous. It took me a long time, Ebony, because even when I left television, there was a part of me that still kind of wanted to get back into it. And God kept saying, no, 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 no. Every door, no, 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 no. And I finally just stopped going in the spaces that God keeps telling me no to, because I thought my gifting was journalism, news. That is not my gifting. My gifting is being light. My gifting is being able to see something and affect somebody, whether I'm talking to them or not, or by the example in which I live. That is my purpose. And that has nothing to do with money, status, somebody seeing me. It has nothing to do with that. And when you whittle it down, even this, as amazing as this is supposed to help somebody there or there realize something that elevates them and makes them a better person for the next person. That is what this thing, to me, what we're here for.
That's right.
Because I still believe, even though I don't do television news anymore, I still have the ability to, for whatever reason, attract people when I'm not even trying. I have practiced it. I have watched this happen where I'm like, I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want anybody to ask me no question. I'm going to specifically take myself out of this space and go over there quietly. I bet you, like any amount of money that you want, somebody, more than one somebody, is going to come over there and be like, do you like this watch I got on? Because that was, all the people over there want her to come. I'm over here quietly.
A magnet.
But they're like, can you? So I realized, okay, God, that is my attract. I can attract. So if I am attracting, have something viable to say that in some way helps the person here. I'm never going to meet them. But if I'm here and you're here and something I'm saying helps you, take that, run.
Run with it. Run with it. Well, Jaquitta, I want to say thank you so much for coming out here today. Sure. It was definitely a gift.
Thank you.
Because there are so many things that I've seen from afar, but to actually hear you articulate it, I'm hoping that someone out there, it will change their life and give them the authority to say no. To say no. And thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Keep a little model hands off me. Both in
in the club, high singing on P. And I wish I never met her at all. It gets better, ordered another round. It's about to go down. Got 6 model chicks, 6 bottles of Chris. 4 billionaires, got weed everywhere. What do you say? Need you in your Chloe glasses. Go somewhere private where we can discuss.
You think my hair got longer for real? Welcome to Coinology, the podcast.